I'm Belle, welcome back to my channel. Today is Wednesday, the 23rd of January 2019, and today is a weekly weigh-in update. So you'll notice it's Wednesday, not Tuesday, and that is because for the last week, pretty much since you last saw me, I had been struck down by some awful cold, and still yesterday, Tuesday, when I would normally weigh, I was just feeling absolutely rubbish. It was snowing outside and I just thought I'll stay inside in the warm. But I did in fact weigh this evening on my way home from work. So I'll let you know firstly how my week's gone and then let you know how I got on when I went to group. So firstly, in last Tuesday's weighing update, I kind of let you guys know that I was feeling a little bit miserable with the weather and struggling a little bit with I don't know, kind of motivation and being upbeat and perky at this time of year. And I was kind of initially sort of disappointed last week at my result. I'd lost, I think, £1 last week. And so many of you sent me so many lovely wrote so many lovely comments and were just absolutely gorgeous. So I really do appreciate your support, and you really picked me up last week. And I think I think I said at the end of my video last week that, you know, I kind of reflected on having lost £1 last week and realised that, you know, we've just got to keep on going. And you know, I think by the end of kind of recording last week's video, I realised that, you know, I'm on this plan for the long haul, and you know, success or failure, you know, each week I've just got to keep on going. And kind of that was my mindset really going into this week, was like, just keep going, just put one foot in front of the other. And what I've done this week is just to do that. So even though I felt absolutely rubbish all week, I had like a streaming cold, I decided just to take one day at a time. So that's what I've done. In terms of food that I have enjoyed this week, I did some lovely blueberry baked oats at the weekend. Because I was feeling a bit rubbish, I did do quite a lot of kind of convenience-y sort of foods this week. So I mentioned in a couple of my what I eat in a day videos, but I had a really nice corn ready meal, which was the corn cottage pie, which I think was like 5 or 5.5 cents, but was really nice and obviously easy when you can't be bothered to cook. And I just had that with some steamed veg. And then the day after that, I had a Co-op lentil cottage pie, which was absolutely amazing. Again, I put it in a what I eat in a day video. I think it was 5 cents, and that was really good. Big fan of that, and I would definitely use sins on both of those two moving forward, just from a kind of convenience point of view. And if you can't get to an Iceland to get a kind of Slimming World ready meal and you're feeling rubbish and you just want something quick and easy, they were really good. And really, like this week, I have used my sins more on kind of my meals than I have done in the past. So I remember the lovely Lisa Snow saying that she had started to kind of use, I think I'm remembering this right, but that she'd started to use a few more kind of sins on making her meals a bit nicer. And I think that's kind of what I've been doing too. So I have been spending sins on my actual main meal, as opposed to kind of saving all my sins as much as I can to the end of the day, because I was kind of getting in a bit of a habit where and don't get me wrong, I love chocolate and I love my treat in the evening, but I was almost kind of starting to have my kind of evening treats a little bit just because it was a habit. And actually, where I've been using my sins a bit more for my kind of main meal, when the evenings come, I have still like wanted a treat, but I haven't been as kind of desperate for it, because I guess I've just been a bit more satisfied with the meals that I'm having. And one of the lovely ladies at the group I went to last week had a really good loss, and she'd said she hadn't used that many sins actually, because she'd just been kind of filling up on free and speed foods, and that had kind of satisfied her. And I thought, do you know what, the week before this week I'd been using like pretty much full sins every day on kind of making sure that I was having those treats, whereas where I'm having kind of more satisfying meals this week, my sin count has been a lot lower. Don't get me wrong, like I think Tuesday or Wednesday last week and yesterday, so Tuesday, I did have like yesterday I had 15 sins, and I think I probably had similar at the beginning of the week. But for the rest of the week, my sins have been pretty low. Like, well, not low, but like not as high as they normally would be. So maybe somewhere between 6 and 8. And obviously sins are there to be used, but I just was kind of getting to the evening, and because I'm at work all day, so I don't get in till late anyway. I have my evening meal really late. And then I was kind of almost starting to have chocolate just because it was kind of a habit. And I was finding, like, over this last week, and it could be because I've had a bit of a cold as well, but when it was getting to kind of late in the evening, I was kind of satisfying my sweet tooth with like a hot winter spice ribena or like a satsuma or something like that, or those little Weight Watchers fromage frais, the ones with the fruit on the bottom. They're like half a sin, or maybe having like a treat sized bar of chocolate, like the little fudge that's like 3 sins, but not needing as many sins as I had been when I was having kind of sort of slightly smaller meals. But anyway, that's what I've done this week. Other foods that I've enjoyed this week, I did a really nice root veggie soup with parsnips, carrots, onions, swede and potato, just done in the soup maker. That was delish. And I've really tried to do more batch cooking, so at the weekend I did more kind of like food prep, and that's kind of kept me going on days where I can't be bothered. Like on Friday, I did like a veggie kind of curry in the slow cooker, and I just got loads of pre-chopped veg from Sainsbury's, like butternut squash, sweet potato, swede, carrots, onions, celery, all that kind of stuff. And it wasn't expensive at all, and I just literally chucked it all in the slow cooker, with some chopped tomatoes, some veggie stock and some curry powder, garam masala, and just let it cook over the afternoon and evening, and that was really, really good, and it made absolutely tons as well. I've mentioned in one of my videos as well that had a situation where I started to use, or I was about to use, some like tikka seasoning, just, it looked like just normal seasoning, and I looked it up on the app. I don't know what prompted me to do it, and it was really high in sin. So do be careful with things like spices that you would probably assume are kind of sin free, but they aren't always. And I've been doing Slimming World on and off since, well, for like 15 years or something, and I'm still learning all the time about how many sins are in things. So do look at everything up. I'm sure you would anyway, but I was definitely almost caught out at the end of last week. Other things that I've done this week, I've kept a food diary all week on the little sheet that you get in group, but I have this week had a new order. I got a new planner, don't know if you can see that, which is from Princess Planning, and I really like it. It's got your normal kind of food diary spaces, and then spaces for your sins and water and all that kind of stuff, but also your mood as well. And for me, I think it's really good for me to be able to track if my mood is kind of correlated to how I'm eating, because I am quite an emotional eater, and I think sometimes when I'm tired or I'm feeling low or whatever, I am tempted a bit more. So good for me to kind of keep an eye on that as well, I think. So yeah, everything has been really pretty good this week, really. I just kind of kept on trucking. The 2 focus points I said I was going to do over this last week were try and drink more water and exercise more. Unfortunately, the exercise kind of went out the window a little bit with being ill, and I just couldn't be bothered. I did do, I think, 2 Leslie Sanson walk from home videos, but I didn't do an awful lot, to be honest. I wanted to get out in the day, and it was just really cold outside and I couldn't be bothered, which I know is a bit lazy. In terms of drinking more water, I've definitely been drinking a lot more kind of water and sugar-free squash this week. So I have done a bit better on that, but I need to continue to do so. And the other thing that I've done this week, which is different, is I reckon I've probably been on a weight loss journey since I was about late teens, probably. I know I first joined my first slimming club when I was 17. I'm now in my 40s, and I've always, therefore, just kind of automatically, when I'm buying something like cheese or milk, always gone for the kind of low cal, low fat version. Always, just automatically. That's always what I've done. And this week I have kind of made a bit of a change, and I've been having full fat cheese and whole milk, which, obviously you have a lesser amount than you would get for your healthy extra A portion than you would do with a kind of lower fat one or with skim milk. But do you know what? It's made all the difference. It just tastes so much nicer. And for me, I've really enjoyed having full fat cheese, and I have really enjoyed having whole milk as well, because I only probably have 2 coffees a day with milk in, if that. And actually having a coffee with milk in and it being whole milk just tastes really nice. And yeah, so that's been a bit of a change for me this week, because as I say, I've been kind of conditioned over the 20 plus years of being on slimming plans to not have full fat things, and actually they're really nice and you can have them and still stay on plan. So that's been really good this week too. Anywho, in terms of my result, so I went to group today and I didn't really know what to expect. I knew that I'd stuck to plan. I knew that I'd been way within my sins every day. I had been more stationary. I had definitely kind of sat down more, I guess, feeling rubbish. But one thing I have noticed this week is that I have been eating quite big portions, and I think that's something that I've done over the last 3 weeks since I started back after Christmas. I think that I've been kind of pushing the free food limit a little bit. And obviously, you know, you don't have to measure your free foods or your speed foods on Slimming World, but I think I've probably been, like, I have portions that, like, you know, a guy who was doing like a physical job would have. And like, it's just me, and I sit down all day at a desk, and I think portion control's always been a bit of a thing of mine anyway, but I think I've been really kind of pushing that a little bit to the limit. And you're supposed to eat until you feel satisfied, and I think sometimes I am inclined to go a little bit beyond that and eat until I'm really full. And I'm in 2 minds about that being a problem, because in some ways I could say, look, I'm having loads of veggies and loads of free food and stuff, and that's stopping me want to eat as many kind of sins. But equally, in the same token, it's like you are having like really big plates of food. Like, I watch other people's what I eat in a day videos, and like, they are not having as big plates as me. Like, you know, it's not like a major problem, but like, I am having big plates of dinner. So I think when I went to group tonight, I was a little bit wary about what the scales would say and whether it would be a loss or not. And I decided after last week's video that I would just be happy with any kind of loss each week. That's it. I've just got to be happy with that, because I'm eating loads of food. I'm enjoying what I'm eating. And that was my mindset going into group this evening. So went to the different group, as I said, in a different town. So different scales, different people, all that kind of stuff. But everybody was lovely and very friendly. And I stood on the scales and I lost another pound. So I weighed in today at 12 stone 3.5, bringing my weight loss today, I don't know why she's not filled this in, but my weight loss today at 2 stone and 3 pounds. So, pound off. I'm quite happy with that. I did want to be a little bit further along by the end of January, but I've obviously got 1 weigh-in left. But yeah, my mindset definitely shifted last week, and I am just happy with just keeping moving forward in the right direction every week. In terms of my week ahead, I have got a couple of little hurdles. I'm due to be eating out both Saturday and Sunday. And I wanted to ask your advice, because obviously for January, I am not eating, as you all know, and I'm sure you're really bored of me talking about it, but for January, I've given up chicken, lamb, beef and pork. So I'm still eating fish, and I'm still eating, obviously, carbs and veggies and dairy and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not eating meat in January. And on Sunday, I'm due to be going to London. We're going for a roast, and obviously, you know, I want to not eat meat but also stay on plan, and it looks like the pub that we're going to predominantly like does roast. So normally if I was kind of trying to stay on plan, I would like have the meat and kind of veggies, but like obviously I'm not eating meat, so I don't really know what to have. Other things on the menu, just the only kind of fishy kind of looking thing is like fish and chips, and obviously I need to stay away from that. So if there's anybody out there that is like pescatarian and has got any advice for me about what I should be kind of asking for in a pretty kind of normal pub on a Sunday, like what do you do in that situation? Like I don't know how to kind of make the best choice, because I want to still stay on plan, but obviously I'm not eating meat until February. So yeah, any suggestions would be very, very gratefully received. Ditto, I was debating doing a couple of SP days, and I normally do SP days, or I did last year a lot. I've held off doing them recently now that you don't get 2 healthy extra Bs. I just feel like if I'm not going to get 2 healthy extra Bs, I don't see the point. But obviously people do have good losses on them, or some people do. So I was debating doing an SP day, but obviously, again, not eating meat in January, I kind of am at a bit of a loss about what to do with that, because my meals at the moment are quite kind of carb heavy, and I know like baked beans aren't a protein anymore. I don't think they are. So like, obviously I am eating fish, so I can just have fish and veggies and stuff, and that's great. But any other suggestions of what I can eat on an SP day not eating meat? I don't know. I suppose omelettes or something. I don't know. Any suggestions would be very, very gratefully received. So anyway, that is my week. Pounds off. I'm feeling much more chipper and upbeat than I was last week. And that's all thanks to you, lovely lot. So thank you so much. Hopefully, by the time you see me next week, I will have shifted this cold and be able to speak properly and not like this. So there are a couple of things that I wanted to mention as well. There are a few videos I've been tagged in. One by the lovely Rachel from Belle's 1986 SW. I've also been tagged in a video ages ago by the lovely Natalie Marie Josie, and I also have the treat sin crate video that I promised a couple of weeks ago, and I still haven't got up, where I haven't been well. So all those videos will be coming soon. I'm sorry I'm a little bit delayed in doing them. But anyway, that is my week. How are you guys? How have you got on? Do let me know how you got on at weigh-in. I hope you're doing okay. Tell me what you're enjoying. Tell me what you're having to warm up. Have you got snow? I woke up this morning with snow. I was very excited, but unfortunately it wasn't enough snow not to go to work. But yeah, if you're having lots of snow, let me know. Tell me how you're warming up in this weather. I had ready break this morning, which was so nice, just with a chopped pear and cinnamon, a little bit of sweetener. That was a really lovely warming breakfast. Thoroughly recommend if you are living in colder climes at the moment. But anyway, rambling on. As always, this video is probably going to be hours long, and I promise not to do that to myself. But anyway, I hope you all have a really, really fab week ahead. If you haven't weighed yet, good luck. And I look forward to seeing you next week in my next video. Take care. Bye.